I am a person, system, living with multiple personalities, OSDD, ask me anything. Ask me/us anything. The condition is heavily stigmatized and folks don't know a lot about it in actuality. So ask me anything about living with alters. Wow. Does your memory change with different personalities? Can you sometimes only remember something that you did when in a certain personality? Also, is one the master personality that is the most dominant? What are your names? Yes, memory issues are common in systems. It's a way to hide trauma from the host or the primary front. So yep, my memory is different depending on who's fronting. Dealing with or improving the memory issues is primarily one of the goals of treatment. Every system is different. In the host or the primary front, the one people interact with day to day, etc. Some systems don't have a clear primary cause they switch so often. My name is Arya, my alters are called Iri, Moon, and Self. I don't think you answered this, but I may be wrong. What are your 4 personalities like? Names, traits. Is there one more dominant for daily things like going to work? I saw a documentary or something on a lady who had this and it was quite interesting. They would videotape her and she was shocked, like she didn't know when it would switch or remember it. Arya, me, I am the host or the primary front. I do all the day-to-day stuff. Kind, likes video games, goth fashion, eerie, manic, impulsive, childlike, likes dancing. Moon, arrogant, very domineering, forceful and blunt. Self, cold, distant, nihilistic, prideful, big ego. Switches do lead to some amnesia. I keep a journal to help with it and friends generally bring me up to speed if there was a big blackout. How do you know she detests spicy food? Like you say everyone's aware? What does that feel like when you're aware but you're not actually conscious? Is it like you're dreaming? And when you're at the front, can you communicate at all with the others? And how do you know per se Self hates spicy food? Friends tell me. She doesn't eat it and has tried it before. It's like sleeping, but it's a form of dissociation, hence the dissociative part of the disorder. Communication happens with keeping journals, leaving messages, and sometimes when blending, the dissociative barriers break down and we can feel each other, hear thoughts of each other, is happening. Smartphones have been a blessing in keeping me functioning. Can leave notes, maps can tell us where we are, etc. I know it's going to be hard to admit this even if you do, because you don't want to hurt the alter's feelings or anything like that or create arguments. But do you ever feel robbed of life? Like say a normal person's life expectancy is 80 years. I assume being the host you're the more predominant personality, so you are up front more often. Say even you're there. Sorry again if I'm offending you with any of my ignorance 60% of the time. Not sure how many alters you have, but you mentioned Moon. Say Moon is around 20% of the time. And you have another alter that's around 20% of the time. You're only actually living 60% of the time, so I guess my question is, do you ever feel robbed of life having this illness? Condition? Disease? I'm sorry, I'm not sure the term. Not meaning to be disrespectful at all. Have you come to terms with having it and accept that's the way it is? Or do you ever wish you never had it? Say science came out with a way to permanently cure this and just have one host. I don't know exactly what causes this. I assume it's neurological, but I'm just speaking in a hypothetical. Would you do it, or would you look at it as killing your alters? Since you seem to look at each alter as an individual entity, it's definitely an interesting philosophical debate. Like one of the primary trait of alters are a level of self-awareness. So in my view, if it's self-aware, it's alive, so I don't seek integration or a way to become one. I accept this is the way it is. Yeah, sometimes it's hard. I don't feel robbed. I'm sharing my life, I guess. My headmates are a part of me. Never one without the other. What do people get wrong or have a hard time understanding? That I'm not a psychopath or schizophrenic. It's ableist to me and ableist to people with those conditions. Don't do crime, don't do murders. That I am not my alters. No matter what, you will never convince my alters they are me. Had to drop a friend after I trusted them with me being plural and being more open with them cause they were a dick to my alters constantly. That in most situations you gotta treat us as separate people. Most folks see me the host as the most important and therefore think they can ignore the others. Was it scary when it first started happening or even now? To be out somewhere then all the suda. Feel like you're sleeping. That must have been and caused crazy anxiety. How don't you guys deal with stuff like say smoking or major surgeries or major stuff to do with the body? Even piercings or tattoos. Since you're the host, do you get the final say on everything or does everyone get an equal say? Say Moon loves smoking. Sylph detests it but keeps coming to the surface with a cigarette in her hand and a pack of smokes in her pocket. Since you're the host, are you kind of like a deal breaker and would another alter listen to you if you wanted them to stop something? Have people ever tried taking advantage of you because of your disability? Illness? Sorry again, I don't know. For example, your friend wanted to borrow money you don't want to but they say Sylph promised she would. But really she didn't. Obviously that's an extreme example. Or even something like when you're Sylph, someone asking to borrow your favorite skirt, you say no, but someone saying Moon promised to lend me her favorite skirt or whatever. When really she didn't. Or say you borrowed $20 from a friend. Sylph gives it back but forgot to write it down. And they say when you're Moon, oh well you still owe me $20, Sylph never paid me. When she did. Have people tried to take advantage of you before in any way like this? Obviously these are extreme examples. But I mean even in a smaller scale. I don't smoke and avoid addictive drugs. Generally try to seek 100% consensus on doing any big body changes. Erie is a fan of hair dye though when she's out. It'd be a big dick move and they wouldn't stay friends if they tried to manipulate us or gaslight us. In cases where it's like one headmate agreed to do something or give something or lend something but I have no recollection of it. You will have to wait till they are fronting again. Mostly to nip any chance of folks abusing our memory issues. Thank you for watching the video. If you're new, please be sure to subscribe, like and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Post your own stories in the comments down below.